Welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. I want to start off first with the water vapor satellite picture. Now, our major rainstorm, and for some locations, major snowstorm, is now exiting into New England this morning. This storm was capable of producing anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain and has produced flash flooding over much of northern New Jersey and parts of Connecticut. Meanwhile, over northeastern Pennsylvania, snow fell with over 1/10 of an inch of ice and 1 to 3 inches of snow. So obviously travel conditions aren't that great, and unfortunately they're not going to get much better. Although conditions will clearly be drying out the rest of the day, notice the red and black over much of the northern Mid-Atlantic. That is sinking air. The problem with this sinking air is that it is tapping into a low-level jet streak, which is about the middle part of the atmosphere, ranging anywhere from 40 to 70 miles per hour. And the problem when you bring this type of air, this transport of air towards the surface, what you get is this momentum of transfer of momentum, and that transfer leads to very strong wind gusts. So for at least through this afternoon, look for winds sustained anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour with gusts anywhere from 30 to 50 miles per hour, especially as you move towards the coast. And if you're in New York City between those buildings, keep an eye out for those winds because they're going to be awfully strong, because not only do you have the strong winds coming down to the surface, but now they're being squeezed between these buildings. So use some caution today and be prepared for some very windy conditions, anywhere again from 10 to 20 miles per hour sustained, with gusts up to 50 miles per hour in some isolated locations. So this dry air will continue to build into the northern Mid-Atlantic. Conditions will dry out and high pressure will slowly take control. Here's our surface map as of 9 a.m. and as you can see, our area low pressure is slowly moving into New England. The rain is pretty much over, but again the windy conditions will continue. Notice that high pressure is sitting over much of southeastern Canada. The area low pressures over the northern plains will continue to weaken as it's moving east and won't be much of a threat. Our next major storm threat will not be until Thursday afternoon, as an area low pressure is currently in the desert southwest, will organize over the southern plains and move towards the Great Lakes. Let's take a look at the latest European model guidance from the Penn State EWAL to get a better look at this storm. So here we are on Thursday night on the surface map, and you can see that high pressure is over the Canadian Maritimes, slowing down and advancing cold front. Now, first things first, we have a strong south to southeasterly wind coming off the Atlantic, so there's going to be plenty of low-level moisture. And our primary low-pressure system on all model guidance is basically around the eastern Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River Valley, which means this is a very warm storm. I don't expect any threat at this time of any type of snowfall, but I am concerned about the potential for flash flooding. When we look at 500 millibars, look at the orientation of this trough. It is what we call a negatively tilted trough. Now, there is plenty of strong lifting over the Ohio Valley and Tennessee River Valley, which suggests that the cold front and the area low pressure will be rather strong, and I would not be surprised if we see some minor waves of low pressure along this cold front as it's moving towards the northern Mid-Atlantic on Thursday afternoon through Friday morning. Now, I have a green arrow there, and that is to basically show that with the orientation of this trough, there's going to be plenty of moisture coming in off the Atlantic at pretty much every level of the atmosphere. So the atmosphere is going to be moisture loaded, and when you get plenty of moisture with strong lifting, you end up with heavy rain. So I would not be surprised if we see a repeat of what we saw last night with rainfall amounts of 1 to 3 inches. Of course, this time the rivers are already elevated, so there's going to be a better potential for even more flash flooding. So those of you around the Raritan River, Ramapo, the Delaware River Valley, just be on guard for Thursday night for more potential for flash flooding that could be even more enhanced. Also want to point out that our polar vortex, that huge upper level low around the Hudson Bay, actually to the north of the Hudson Bay, is going to keep all of our cold air locked up to the north, and we'll see at 850 millibars that this storm is much warmer than the previous storms in this new pattern, and we're going to continue to see that trend as all of our cold air is locked up in Canada. Notice how behind this storm The air mass is not nearly as cold as what we're seeing with this current storm that's leaving right now. Notice that our minus 10 degrees Celsius line is well up in Canada, and really what we have is a marginal polar air mass that's being moderated behind this storm. So I really don't expect much in a drop in temperatures behind this storm on Thursday night into Friday morning. But again, notice ahead of this cold front on Thursday night, we have plenty of warm air driving into the northern Mid-Atlantic. We have plenty of moisture, and that just signifies one very important thing, and that is plenty of moisture to support very heavy rainfall. Anywhere from 1 to 3 inches will not be out of the question, and we're going to have to keep an eye for the potential for embedded thunderstorms here too, and of course strong wind gusts. So this rainstorm for Thursday night into Friday looks like it could be a major player that's going to have a significant impact on the region. Now towards this weekend, the 500 millibar pattern starts to change a little bit. We end up into more of what we call a zonal flow. The upper level pattern features more weak disturbances that are a little bit more disorganized. They're fast moving. There's no blocking in the Atlantic. Our polar vortex is well up in Canada. And the strongest upper level low on this map here is over the Pacific, which means that you're going to get a lot of these Pacific storms moving through, which also means a Pacific air mass. So we're definitely going to be moving into warmer and warmer conditions overall throughout the entire country, and especially the northern mid-Atlantic. And at the surface, that basically translates to weak disturbances moving to the north of the northern mid-Atlantic this weekend. Generally, high pressure will be in control. The heart of that high pressure system potentially could be over the southeast, and that would mean warmer conditions for much of the region. We're looking at upper 40s to mid 50s. You could see upper 50s depending on if the high pressure center that's over the southeast on Saturday is the dominant high pressure system. Still waiting on that. But clearly we're looking at a rather nice weekend overall as we move into the beginning and middle parts of March. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA Weather as your weather source for the northern mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Have an excellent day.